Like, got Aaliyah Boss in the face and then, brushed back. Got her in the eye. And a lot of people are wondering, is like, first of all, why was this not an ejection? And should it be a suspension? In my opinion, the reason why it's not an ejection in the game is because there is enough...
Keep an eye on that reaction, because what Brittney Griner just did to Aaliyah Boston was not an accident. And the fact that she walked away without being ejected you all you need to know about how this league works when certain players are there. Last night's amazing game provided one of those moments that expose the double standards that exist in women's basketball today. Griner's hand runs over Boston's face, catching her in the eye, and the officials look at it and conclude it's just a basketball play. But here's what distinguishes this from a regular hard foul.
The question is now, should there be a suspension for Brittney Griner? And now that is a different question. Should there be a suspension for Brittney Griner? For me, the answer is yes. Because the reason why, in real time, you could definitely chalk this up as being unintentional. But then after she got... Look, the ball's nowhere to... Like, she goes... Griner makes no attempt to grab the ball here. Like, Griner is nowhere near the ball. She's not within a meter of the ball. The ball is not within a meter of her by the time.
There's proof right there. Griner isn't making a play on the ball. She is nowhere near it. By the time her hand reaches Boston's face, the ball has traveled a full meter. And if you go back one possession, you can see exactly what caused this. Their arms become intertwined during the previous play. Boston and Griner have a history dating back to their Wnba games, and anyone who has watched them knows the friction is palpable. Boston plays with her arms raised when she takes steps. Technically legal, but clearly intended to generate touch. Griner answers with elbows and aggressiveness that skirts the boundaries of what is permissible. This was not premeditated from the start of the game, but it was certainly premeditated 25 seconds before the first contact occurred. The officials referred to it as a common foul. It wasn't even a flagrant infraction, just an ordinary one. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
It is a bit of a concern because they're not going to be. Because it is Aaliyah Boston. Realistically, because it's Aaliyah Boston, it's not going to be seen as a concern because, unfortunately, because of proximity to Caitlin Clark, amongst the WNBA media, it's fair game. Aaliyah Boston is fair game. Like, it's Aaliyah Boston's fair game, Lexi Hull's fair game, Sophie Cunningham's fair game. You are allowed to go out and try to hurt an Indiana Fever player. Heck, Sydney Colson was fair game when JC Sheldon jumped through her knee. Like, the ball, Sid Colson.
And that's where the double standard becomes impossible to ignore, as Unrivaled has positioned itself as a league that prioritizes player safety. They are cautious about everything. A player has a slight injury worry. They sit them out. Someone sprains an ankle during practice. They are kept out of games as precaution. The entire marketing concept is about caring for athletes and building a sustainable basketball environment. However, when one player plainly retaliates against another with a move that may have resulted in a major eye injury, all prudence departs. Suddenly, it's just basketball. Suddenly, we're supposed to think that this was an unfortunate accident during a typical basketball game. Despite all evidence to the contrary, the WNBA has the same problem. And Unrivaled is inheriting it directly because so much of their media coverage is provided by the same folks who have been covering the W for years.
If Aaliyah caught Brittney Griner with this, I'm fully believe that Aaliyah would be suspended by Unrivaled. I fully believe it. But because in the psychotic world of the WNBA, Fever players are fair game. Whether that's fair game from commentators, fair game from the media, fair game from other players. You are allowed to attack their characters. You are allowed to attack them as people. You are allowed to attack their looks. You're allowed to attack their... Whatever about... I'm not even going to say criticize. You're allowed to attack their skill set. You're allowed to attack where they're from. You're allowed to attack where they were born. You're allowed to attack their views. Fever players...
Nobody wants to say this out, yet everyone knows it's true. Indiana Fever players have become fair game in a way that other players in the league have not. It's not just about on-court contact, but it is an important aspect of it. Consider what happened with Caitlin Clark during her freshman season. The flagrant fouls, hip checks, and late hits were routinely disregarded as rough play or welcome to the league moments. Then you had Lexi Hull being targeted, Sophie Cunningham taking cheap shots, and remember when J.C. Shelton slid through Sydney Coulson's knees from behind after Coulson had already scooped up the ball? This was a red card tackle in football. That play wounded Coulson, who had recently joined Indiana. The response was essentially nothing. The pattern is unmistakable at this stage. You can target fewer players. You can question their character. You can criticize their appearance, backgrounds, skill sets, and opinions on everything. When someone is wearing a Fever jersey, the conventional boundaries that apply to other players seem to disappear.
I don't think in general that something like this you could say, oh yeah, is worthy of a suspension. But when it comes to Unrivaled, and it being this buddy league and players, you don't actually have to play. We'll just you can pay to train. You don't have to play. This isn't a real sports league type thing. At the end of the day, it is like it's one of those things where.
Now, ask yourself this question. If the positions had been reversed last night, and Aliyah Boston had hit Brittney Griner in the face with the same move, how would Unrivaled have handled it? Based on what we've observed in the last year, the answer is probably no. There would have been instant call for the suspension. The comments would have centered on Boston's reckless play and lack of control. The analysis would have focused on protecting veteran players and retaining respect in the game. An unrivaled leadership, including numerous former players who have been critical of how the Fever has been handled, would have moved quickly. But because it's Guerrier and it's Boston, the conversation changes. Now we're wondering whether Boston's physical style of play encourages this type of reaction. Now we're debating whether her lawful but aggressive elbows imply she can't complain when someone gets back at her. That is not how player safety is intended to work.
Not just a little small bit of history. Like we've seen Brittney Griner swing elbows. We've seen Aliyah Boston. Aliyah Boston does Aliyah Boston things. When she drops steps, she keeps her arms high, and it's very like. And the thing is, like, it's ironically, based on the rules of basketball, it is a perfectly legal elbow to the face. Like, she's in her cylinder. There's nothing wrong with it in the rules of basketball, but she does elbow people in the face. Let's be very clear here. It is Aliyah Boston absolutely will hit someone with the legal elbow to the face.
Technical case for why this wasn't an ejection in the moment makes sense. In real time, without the advantage of replay or different views, you could claim that this was an accident. Officials must make split-second decisions, and if there's any reasonable doubt regarding purpose, they will usually err on the side of